Right, so we've got Shish Patel today.
Oh, morning to you too.
Oh, morning. Sorry, I've got so much. I've got loads on. I'm on this pitch of Matt at B&B, and I'm right up to my gunnels.
Well, you just want to just get this done.
Yeah, but in a really nice way.
Nice to see you.
Okay, nice to see you.
Who we got? Shish today.
Shish Patel. So sorry, I know you've not met him before. He's a lovely guy.
We've had a couple of Zoom calls.
Oh, we have
Teams calls or Google Hangouts, whatever they were.
I didn't know him for years. I knew of him as a very good creative and his partner Sam, and then bumped into him weirdly because he was at the Beeb and I left, and then I was.
So when you left the Beeb, I think we had maybe one call in your 10 months where we were actually talking about some work. When Shish joined the Beeb, we had maybe 6.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a really close friend, I'd say.
Getting closer all the time. The breakfast's getting stronger.
Yeah.
But no, he's done loads of good work. Been meaning to try and do it for ages. He kept getting freelance gigs and then stopping, blah, blah, blah. So finally getting him in today. So.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Right, let's grab him in.
Okay, let's go get him. And we've got some cake as well.
Oh, yeah.
To have with him. Shish Patel, creative director of many, many places. Creative from many other places. Welcome to Behind the Billboard.
Welcome.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you for coming on. Actually, first thing I was going to ask, how was Creative Circle last week? Did you go down?
Yes. Yeah, that was good. I went there on the Thursday,
right?
So just for the day, and it was a nice day out. Yeah.
I've never been. Is it a place called Dreamland?
Yes. Yeah.
It's the fun
which
fair,
I think is still a functioning theme park.
A theme park.
Yeah, I've been.
Yeah,
I went with the girls 2 years ago, but I think it was before. Maybe it's 3 years. I can't remember. But yeah, it's old school. You know, you got the wooden.
Got the old roller coasters and dodgems, and it's proper sort of old.
The Mary Rose down there it was a full 360 kind of one of those boats that rocks either.
Yeah.
Seriously, no, I don't like those ones. Have you got a favourite ride at all?
Do you know what? I do like a roller coaster, but I don't like a rickety old roller coaster. I like a
modern one.
Yeah, one with health and safety in mind.
I don't like.
Been some bad reports over there recently.
The big wheel, the anything that you go to the top and you're just waiting. It's like I've got to go fast and know that it's going to be over soon. You know, the big wheel. People love. Yeah. I fuck that now.
What?
I love all that.
So the London Eye is a no-go.
Well, that's all right because it's quite slow.
Okay.
That is really, and you know that is very big. It's like about twice the size of this room, isn't it? But just sitting there with your mate with no. What did you go on a ride at all? No.
So I mean, it was the first time for a while where I've been to a ad event in real life. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's been not a lot of that recently. So
is it a boozy affair? Is it like? Did you see all the winners, or was it day one of 3, or the main night?
It's two days, Wednesday and Thursday, and then Thursday evening there's the Creative Circle Awards.
Right.
I stayed for that too, which was good.
Wow.
Won a couple of gongs.
Well done.
No way. Oh, well,
quite nice for the capture. We talked a bit.
What's
about
that? The BBC
capture.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't tell me that's Billboards.
No, it won in Best Integrated Campaign.
Okay. I think we need to put this in when we
Golden for that, and Best Use of AI, which we got a silver for.
We're literally talking to the future. That's brilliant.
Do you know what? And it was a great show as well because we talked about it when you were because we were looking at the outdoor stuff, weren't we? For
yes.
The capture.
Yeah.
And I ended up watching it because whenever we talk about, certainly when we're working on either films or TV shows, and we're working on ideas, I go, that looks like an interesting TV show. And I thought that the capture was brilliant. It was a really well-made show.
Yeah.
I loved it, I remember watching the first series before I went to the BBC last year, and it was just great to be put on that for the second one.
It's good to work on, that sounds really obvious, but something that you like and believe in, rather than you go, is that what I've got?
I always go to the same one, antifungal foot cream. We did a campaign for Lamisil antifungal foot cream.
Well, I don't know if I can top that or bottom that. Adam and I once went to New York, and they said, you're going to work on a pitch in New York. I'm going, great. And it was a piece of financial trading tech.
Oh, fintech.
Nice.
And even saying it now, I actually don't think we knew what we were doing, but we came up with something, and it sort of went away.
But you're in New York, so
that's true.
Just before we move on from Creative Circle, we did talk about it the other day with Nils, and just championing what Jeremy's doing with the Creative Circle and what he's doing for the British creative industry. And I think it's a good point to just double down on that. I was part of the gold jury this year for outdoor. And it was great. It was, it was a really good experience with other talented people. But just hearing in the room Jeremy's passion for what he does, he's done all of those different gold juries, and the effort that he puts in for the couple of days in Margate.
It's amazing,
it's brilliant. Yeah, it's really good. So
it's a really good idea
to him.
Doing that. Just make it into a big event. Like there were loads of sort of panel talks and sort of speakers down there. And it's just great to just hang out and catch up with people when they're not totally wasted.
Yeah. Or in the south of France. It's sort of like if you're a young person in Britain wanting to get into the industry, that's the thing, because it's free or mostly free. I mean, I was meant to be mentoring a guy from a year ago. Paul, if you're listening, I'm still around. We had a few chats initially, but and it's a fun thing, right? Whereas not knocking D&AD and Can and the other ones, but they're less,
more business pressure.
They're less accessible, are they? To so I think it's you're right. He's done an amazing job.
Yeah.
But that's great. So
I got the last train back.
I was going to say at what time?
From Margate to King's Cross on Thursday night. It was the last train was like 10 to 10 or something.
Okay.
I think I got the 9:30 one, the one before, just in case anything happened with the last one. But I was always sort of like, okay, I'll get the second to last one. Might not be too many other ad people on the train.
On the second to last one.
Yeah. So, as you know, you could be tricky.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was by myself.
All right.
So I got on the train, and it wasn't too busy, but there were some people there. And I got in the carriage, so it was quite quiet when I got on there. And then after a few minutes, I was surrounded by the crew of Wonderhood Studios, who coincidentally, I don't know, they must have planned it, but they were having their agency summer away day.
Oh my God, right.
At Margate.
In Margate?
Yeah.
Wow.
At the same time.
2 for 1. Perfect, right?
So I was sat there quietly by myself, like just hoping to have a chilled out time, looking out the window, reading something. And then like this crew that had been there all day on the beach.
Drinking champagne.
Were like going absolutely crazy around me. But they saw that I was sitting there, and there's a producer guy that sat next to me like, I'm really sorry about this. You can leave now if you want to. I styled it out for like 10 minutes, but then I said, I think I will go now.
Was there other seats elsewhere?
Yeah. There's sort of carriages that are quieter, so I left them to it. Yeah. That was the party carriage, that one.
Yeah. Well, you could have said, look, I've got some awards as well. That's fucking great. I mean, so they must have finished early enough for people to get back? Because sometimes, the awards are still going on at like midnight and like, fucking hell.
Yeah, they rattled through them. I mean, one thing that was weird, they did do it, but they didn't play the work of the winners. Or I think they sort of like announced all the awards and people came out to pick up their gold. And then at the end of a sort of a section of them, they sort of did some
a montage
summary clips of some of the winners.
I guess it's just too long though. I mean, we looked through some of those, quite a few of the case study videos.
Yeah,
with all of the people winning, you just can't get through it all.
Yeah,
isn't it 30 seconds for a gold-winning show something and then move on?
Yeah.
Right. So we need to focus on one other thing before we get on, which is so Shish and I actually have been. As Dan has just said before we got on air, we've been sort of doing this job swap thing where I worked at the BBC, Shish worked at the BBC, Shish worked at Specsavers, I worked at Specsavers. So we're hoping that will carry on. But so one of the things that we have been doing is having breakfast together to discuss our relative roles. And so today there's not eggs on toast, Shish, or a flat white, but I do have some homemade cake. So, do you like Madeira cake? It's honestly the most
cake. That's taken me back. Did you make that yourself?
I did it myself, yeah.
Very nice.
He is a master baker.
It looks good. Yeah.
I was very clear.
Thank you, Daniel.
I was very clear.
Thank you very much.
He's you love it, don't you?
Pass that down.
Actually, pass them down.
Yeah, Dan.
So
you
this
follow Hugh on Instagram. You'll follow his baking stories.
Yeah. It's a good bake, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was a little bit dry yesterday.
No soggy bottoms.
It's a good sponge, like fluffy. Yeah.
Oh, Hugh, it's really good.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's got sort of hints of lemon drizzle as well.
Yeah, but not too heavy. So lemon drizzle, the girls don't like that anymore, so I can't make it.
Oh, I don't know.
So this is your good. This is like a kind of good generic, not too heavy.
Yeah,
it's very good.
So
no, Mum used to buy that from Sainsbury's all the time.
Same. My mum makes me to my mum.
Nice with a cup of tea.
Oh, so
better than Sainsbury's. That
I was going to say what
it is
up to at the moment, but you kind of know because you've just been down to Margate picking up awards. And you've been in and out of various agencies this year.
A few, not many.
Yeah.
Quiet out there. If you're a freelancer.
Oh. Was it We Are Social? No, Above and Beyond.
Above and Beyond,
Did a session there, yeah. And how was that? Was that all right?
Yeah, that was good.
Yes.
Yeah. I was there for 2.5 months, nearly 3 months. Worked on 2 or 3 things there. Amazon project, an OXO thing, a pitch as well. But yeah, no, it's good crowds there. Yeah, it's good to work with Dom Goldman.
Yes,
who I knew from BBH days.
Talk about BBH in a bit, yeah. Okay.
So, usual segment is the billboard at the end of my street.
Yeah. Let's have a look.
Have you got something?
Blank page.
Yes. Do I need to show you it or?
You can do it. Have you got a photo?
I haven't got a photo of it. No.
Can you get a photo of it and send it to us?
I can. Yeah.
I know.
I'll do that.
It doesn't matter that it's shit.
No, actually, no. I could because I'm going to pick up my son from school this afternoon, so I'll be walking past it.
Is it right next to the school as well?
It's near the school. Yeah. It's a few meters away. Yeah.
Okay.
It's it doesn't literally have to be at the end of my street.
No.
It's the one that's just nearest.
We don't want anyone to find out where you actually live, so they stalk you or anything.
Yeah. So there's one that's the nearest one. It's on Broadway Market in Hackney.
Right.
And it's just at the end of London Fields, the park, and the top of Broadway Market, the street. And it is a large square format billboard. It's on ground level. Lots of foot traffic there. They tend to have lots of posters for fashion brands. There's been a Carhartt one there. Palace do some cool posters there as well. Music festivals tend to advertise there. It's that kind of demographic.
This should be a good one.
So no, it is a good one. Because I mean, on a large scale like that, when you're quite close to it, you can put some really good artsy things. And this one's for the Tate Gallery. I mean, it's running around the city at the moment.
Okay,
it's for an African photography exhibition.
Cool,
and they're really sort of beautiful, saturated color shots. And this one's of African woman that's sort of. I don't know if she's albino or she's been painted white, but she's got this sort of silk red sort of draped sort of fabric on that's sort of billowing out. Like looks like a butterfly in this sort of white sort of desert with the blue sky behind her. Really
sounds amazing. That sounds
strong
like one of the best ones we've ever had because we've had some.
We've had some stinkers, haven't we?
I was sort of wondering whether to sort of, talk about a stinky one but I mean, this is a good science. There's some good ones.
Also, when you're walking around the city and you see that the beautification of our space with billboards, I think it's right to champion it.
Yeah, because we're always kicking it a bit, aren't we? Because we're always looking for good stuff, and there isn't loads of.
But Tate actually do some really good outdoor.
Yeah.
in general. And I guess they've got a great product because they've got the world's best artists coming to them to
well, there's some examples. Well, there's a Tate example in
later
favorite
on.
billboards, as well as like other ones that all fit into that thing about actually sort of thinking about the context and it being a public thing. And
I remember sorry, this is another little Nils moment, but he is who he is because he's who he is. There was a brilliant thing because there was a campaign someone wrote. They wrote the words of the picture rather than the picture, which I love.
That was Nils did that, didn't he? I think it was
Nils and
Dom.
I think so. I can't remember.
It was Dom. Yeah, for the Tate. Yeah.
Or was it Pete something like Pete Gatley? Did I?
Oh yeah.
I speak anyway. But his point was, so I'll be really quick on this because I know we've got to get on. But it's like you got these most amazing pictures in the world in the gallery, so don't go and put them on a poster because you go, oh, it's in the poster and I don't need to go in. Rather than describe them and tease it to me, then I'll go in. And I always think that I look past. Because you think, oh, that's a really nice picture.
Yeah.
Don't need to go now.
Yeah.
And I know it's a bit churlish.
See, I'm the other way.
Okay.
Like
you're more excited.
When I'm in,
you want to go.
when it makes me more excited to see more.
Yeah.
And actually spend time in front of because it's a poster. Let's face it, we work in the outdoor industry.
Yeah.
You're walking past this stuff or driving past this stuff. And if it catches my eye, I go, okay, cool, I'm gonna Google that and find out more about it. When's the show running? And spend some time in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's like a movie poster. Like, if I've seen the trailer, do I need to watch the film? If I've seen the movie poster, no.
I'll tell Nils what he said.
Yeah.
Well, the National Gallery.
We're allowed to have a difference of opinion.
Of course we are.
The National Gallery did that and made that the point of the idea, didn't they? A while ago. That's like 20 odd years ago. They actually took artworks from
put them on the street,
the gallery, and put them on the street.
I love that.
I don't think it's the original artwork, but it was sort of the same size with the frame on it.
Oh, and I love that. We've tried to get that person on forever. It's one of the fucking best campaigns. It's brilliant.
Love that. Yeah,
it's on the street.
It's just really simple and smart.
And things like the National Portrait Gallery. I'd like when you spend time in front of one of those the big portraits with multiple people in, you see all these vignettes of the stories.
Yeah,
I love that idea of just kind of like just a crop. So here's one part of the story, but you see the big battlefield stuff. It's incredible.
The National Portrait Gallery is just reopened, isn't it? It's just been done. Anyway, right, we're doing too many sidebars.
With your with the one at the end of your street, what about everything else you're seeing at the moment as you walk around the town? What's your kind of opinion of creativity in the out-of-home space?
Well, what I see around me, so I've got a
mouthful of Madeira.
Yeah, the cake's slowing the podcast down. Sorry.
There's a difference between what I see in industry press versus what I see in the real world. In the real world, generally, not a lot of good stuff. Apart from seeing Uncommon's brilliant British Airways campaign. I saw that in the real world. Yeah. And it's like, it's always great idea, really simple, just really emotive as well. But I don't see a lot of good stuff around me. There's a lot of naff stuff that's, just not using the medium to its fullest effect. Yeah. But at the same time, I see a lot of good work that's being made that, you read about. And I do feel that there is there's a bit of a resurgence in, the power of out of home.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's ironic that, at the height of, at the beginning of like the tech boom and, the sort of fragmentation of media and sort of the world of digital, like sort of opening up in the noughties and blah, blah, blah. You saw big tech companies like Google and Apple investing massively in out of home.
Yeah.
And doing brilliant, simple, captivating work. And like just showing that traditional media, inverted commas, still is powerful and can, reach millions of people.
And when you think about TV being the broadcast medium and how fragmented since digital TV it's become, and advertising on TV used to be the premium because there were set number of channels, and now we've got the IPTV and everything happening over kind of on demand. What I think actually outdoor is the last bastion of broadcast media. It's like that is, you put it out on the streets and you can't avoid it. You can't skip it. You've got people, thinking about that. That's why I think Uncommon's British Airways campaigns elevate itself, because it's a unique piece of creative for 500 pieces of creative, and it's not wallpaper. It's there's a story behind each one. Whereas you just don't do that. You don't see that on TV anymore. You see the one big campaign played out everywhere, and it's not the same, is it?
Yeah, and with Out of Home, the best stuff is fully aware of its context.
The power of context is when it's rich in the idea.
It's interesting to say about those tech companies because it is ironic, but it's just people, like you say, just using it the right way. It just stands out a mile, doesn't it? Like the other one I was thinking about seeing in the real world is Oatly. They spend shitloads. You can spend shitloads like Sky, and it's rubbish. Apologies to anyone who's worked on that, but it's not great. But you spend a lot on Oatly, and it's brilliant. And you go, there are brands out there who understand how to use outdoor and use it cleverly. Like Tate and the ones that we pick up on. But it's nice to see more of it. I remember going to America with Adam working in New York for a bit, and like I was saying, that's a slightly horrific brief, and thinking, America's got so many good ads, and all the award shows, there's so many good ads, and you get there and you go, nah, it's just like ours. It's 80% just kind of wallpaper, and then the good stuff you still have to. I think in Britain we have a very good average standard of work. Like I always think if you watch TV one night, if you still do that, you'll see one decent ad in an ad break, and decent to good to brilliant. And I think that's the same about posters. Where I remember in America, I used to watch and just see nothing, literally nothing really good, and it would be really depressing.
They pack them in too, didn't they?
Yeah, they've got 7-minute ad breaks. Don't they?
ITVX
Every other
is
one's
actually pushing the dial on that one. Yeah. I go fast forward and end up fast forwarding to the end of the programme. My wife was fucking
there's no separation between the programme and the ads. They just sort of blend into one another.
Right, we better back on.
So do you remember your first billboard? Your very first billboard?
Yes, that was in there.
He has actually dropped this in overnight.
Let's have a look.
It was...
Is this actually brilliant?
Aidan's going to tell me off for moving the mic slightly.
You can just read off. You got it there, Shish.
Here we go.
Good man, get in there. Yeah.
So it was a poster campaign for Comfort fabric conditioner, and this was one of the first posters we did. Me and Sam Oliver, who was my creative partner at the time.
Right.
We were fresh out of Watford College.
Yay.
And
alumni over there.
Big up Tony Cullingham and the Watford crew.
TC.
We got a placement at Ogilvy. We were in the Cream exhibition with a few other fellow Watford students and other teams around the country, and Patrick Hollister was there.
Yes.
And he was ECD of Ogilvy at the time. He got us a placement on the back of that exhibition. And one of our first briefs in our first week was a brand campaign for Comfort.
Wow, that's quite a start.
Yeah, it was. And in our first few days, we came up with this idea of creating a world made of fabric where all the people were cloth people.
Right.
And they used Comfort fabric conditioner like people use toiletries and cosmetics. So these posters were for a new fragrance of Comfort, which was passion flower and ylang ylang.
Mm-hmm.
So we spoofed perfume ads, and we had these two cloth characters who we worked with Arden Animations on the sort of design of this cloth world and these characters. And they were two sort of teenagers called Darren and Lisa. And we used them, and I know they look really quirky and sort of kooky. Darren is made of denim. Lisa's made of sort of satin and silk and sequins, maybe sort of stereotypical of like girls and boys. It was 1999, I think, at the time. But Darren is made of denim. He's got quite big ears, and Lisa is made of sort of silk and satin fabrics. And we had a fashion photographer that shot them, and it had sort of copy that spoofed perfume ads as well. Like one of them, Darren and Lisa were in a field, backlit, and like they're posing in a really sort of pretentious modelly way. And the
was that all shot in studio as well?
Yeah, so it's all shot in the studio. Yeah, and the line says, "For a man, for a woman, for a pair of pants." Passion for lang from Comfort, and the other one as Lisa. Oh, referencing. Art in the Tate, in fact. Yes. The other one was the sort of based upon the painting by Millet called Ophelia.
Yes, in the water.
And she's in a sort of a midnight lit pool.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, basking in the moonlight. And it says in French, L'eau de fabrique, and then in brackets, but it's not French or anything. So, yeah, that was...
That's quite a start.
That's quite a start.
Sounds first, yeah.
That's very good.
Now there's an additional story.
Yes, right? Yes, yeah. Which is quite useful to talk about, because I did advertising. My parents, and this is a thing with my generation and sort of Indian parents.
Yeah.
They were like, I did art as a degree. And they were like, just in despair and really worried, like, what's he going to do with art as a degree? Like, why didn't you do medicine or
doctors
law?
Or lawyers?
Yeah, exactly. Then I can tell my friends and family, he's studying to be a doctor. He's studying to be a lawyer. So what are you doing art? How are you going to earn any money doing that? But yeah, I mean, that's what I pursued. I did a degree in art and then did advertising, because I sort of actually preferred working to a brief and solving sort of creative problems. But they had no clue what advertising was or what you did, even though they'd seen them see ads around them all the time.
Yeah.
But these posters... My mum and dad had a shop, a newsagents, in North Cheam in Surrey, and there was a 6-sheet ad shell site in front of the shop. So one day, and I was still living with my parents at the time, I came home and the poster was outside the shop.
Brilliant.
And I said, Mum, Dad, do you want to know what I do for a living?
No way.
Come out here. I did that poster.
Oh.
And they were like, well done. Very proud of you. They so tell good. Any customer that walked in, see that poster out there? My son did that.
And they got it. The fact that it was your idea and crafted. And...
Yeah. No. Then they said. So what did you do?
Yeah.
Then on this poster, did you do the lettering? Did you do the photography?
I did it.
It's like, no. I came up with the idea, and that's where I lost them.
Yeah. You thought you sorted it, and then you lost it.
So you didn't make it then? No. Someone else. There was a photographer. There was a model maker. All right. So what did you do?
I started the whole process. That's how I got those people got paid because of me.
Yeah.
What?
Did you put it up?
Yeah. It's hard, isn't it? It is hard.
Yeah, it is.
Even now, it does sound a bit ludicrous. I did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What? Which bit?
The concept, man.
It's generational, though. It's the same with my parents. My dad was Indian and mum English, but they just didn't get it at all. Went to art college, came out to work in advertising. Yeah. They're like, what do you do? And it wasn't until they came and saw IRL, one of these live stunts that we were doing, that they went, this is just amazing.
Yeah.
It's
got to see it to experience it.
Completely different world.
But it is that, I think that's what is this sort of the most exciting bit of it, because you go, photographer, got that, whereas, illustrator, So when you're like an ideas person, it is a bit of a mind fuck, the job anyway.
Yeah.
But then trying to sort of discuss that and then think, I'm getting paid to do these ideas.
But also unpicking the process for someone who's not involved in our industry is just that's another mind-blowing exercise, isn't it? So there's someone who buys that space, and then there's someone who creates the stuff.
To be fair, I'm not far off a lot of those questions myself, as I'm sure you've noticed. Right, we're going to get into the work. And I've got to say, I'm going to confess to Dan, I don't even know if I've spotted this. So I like a timeline. I like to start at the beginning and go to the end.
Right.
And about midnight last night, I was going through it. I thought, fucking hell, this comfort stuff.
Yeah.
I thought, that was like a fourth.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, it was the beginning. Yeah. But you've now taken all that away. Yeah. Because that was your first poster. So we didn't have to mention that. So the timeline still exists. So it's just a very sad thing for me to.
Thanks, Hugh. I'm glad I helped your OCD.
But we're going to start with. So I don't know actually if these are timelines strictly, but we're going to start DDB.
Yeah.
Formerly known as DDB, which is now Adam and Eve, and Marmite. And we're going to obviously mention Sam, your partner.
Yeah.
She did a lot of work with Sam. I've never met Sam, but I imagine he's a lovely man.
He is a lovely man. Yeah.
That's good.
Still see him. Yeah. Still in touch with him. Yeah.
So we're going to start with Marmite, and appropriate enough with a little baby because it's the beginning of the show. So this is a baby in the womb, and it's that scan of a child, and it's got a disgusted look on its face, like it's throwing up. So the story is obviously the breast milk had Marmite, and so just tell us a bit about this, because I think it's a fantastic idea. I love it so much.
Yes, it was.
Was it the first?
Quite a specific brief, actually.
Was it?
Yeah, because the brief, it wasn't a sort of a general
right.
You either love it or hate it ad for Marmite.
Right.
They wanted to talk about the fact that Marmite contains B vitamins,
right, and
folic acid, and the benefits of that for mums to be. It's a vitamin and a nutritional element that is recommended during pregnancy. And so, wanted to promote that.
Right, so that's quite a niche thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you could have done that and avoided love it or hate it.
Yeah.
But we thought you can't really avoid the love or hate thing.
You have to lean into it, don't you?
That is the brand that's, that's made the brand famous. And it's, the really powerful emotional thing that's made Marmite what it is. And so, we found a way of doing that through thinking about if it's good for mums to be, what does that mean for the baby developing in the mum? And
you quite quickly get to there. I'm looking at it now. It's so well executed.
Yeah, it was incidentally a time when 4D ultrasound scans are quite new.
Yeah, that's what I remember seeing it, thinking this is right on the money.
Yeah. And the 4D ultrasound scans are sort of more detailed, rounded sort of images of the baby developing in the womb. So it allowed us to sort of create an image that was quite detailed as well.
How? Because like the tongue is probably not really that long. I mean, how did you get this child? Did you?
Well, I was going to say story behind that as well, yeah.
Go on, tell us.
So we were sort of thinking, how can we create this using existing ultrasound scans of babies and manipulating them?
Yeah.
But that was proving to be quite tricky to find the right images, because even you still want to get a feeling of a reaction that you can viscerally sort of feel as a viewer. And although these scans are quite detailed, they're also a bit distorted.
Yeah.
Because, the baby is moving in the womb, so it doesn't always make for a very sort of photogenic image. So we had to create it from scratch, and there was another creative director, senior creative at the time, working at DDB. It was an amazing time to be working there. They had a really good creative department. We made lots of friends there. But Peter Hayes was working there at the time. He worked with Matt Lee at the time. And he knew about this idea, and he said, hey, look, I got an image that could work perfectly for this, because he had photos of his son that had just been born a year or two before. Just pictures in his cot, and he poor thing, he had colic at the time.
But Pete still took a photo.
Baby pictures of his child in the cot. But he had the pictures of his son just grimacing in the cot, and so he said, you can use these. This will work really well.
That's absolutely brilliant.
And I never knew that. We had a retoucher called Richard Green working there, brilliant retoucher, and he took the images, took the references of these scans, and added in the tongue in post, and sort of manipulated it to create that feeling of this grimacing baby in the womb.
Absolutely brilliant. Pete Hayes, full credit, mate. That is magnanimous and generous and brilliant, and actually disturbing that you took that photo. But
his son's 21 years old now.
Oh, okay. Is he after some royalties?
Well, probably now, yeah.
Quick question.
You can edit this bit out.
You've got so much work. We're going to have to... Too much chat at the front. That cake has really sort of slowed... It's like the stomach of the podcast. We're going to go to sleep. Did you do a hate? I mean, a love one, because that's obviously a child going, don't like it.
Yeah.
Did you do one going...
Well, that's the thing.
Did the budget run out? You only went to one.
With the love or hate campaigns...
Yeah.
Probably... Mostly back then, it was the hate bit that was the thing that really sort of like stood out.
Yeah. It was a nastier time. It's much nicer now, isn't it?
Yeah, you got to balance things out more.
No, but Joe, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, he hasn't sent through the other one.
Yeah.
So for our listeners...
But it wouldn't work as well, would it? Would it work as well? Maybe it could if it was a smiling baby.
Well, funnily enough, we should just say there is a similar version, this idea that featured on our Instagram feed and did well at Cannes recently. Do you
think it was copycat? Do you think it's
I think
inspired by
imitation is a sincerest form of flattery, isn't it?
The Adam and Eve one, yeah.
I think we'll have to just leave that.
Yeah.
Leave it floating ether.
Yeah, that picked up something at Cannes.
It did well, and it was again, it was beautifully done. And funny enough, it did have. I think it had both. Or I don't know if they're all smiling, but anyway, we'll.
It was a mixture, wasn't it? Yeah,
we can dip into that later on. We want to move on to another brilliant. I was watching this last night. The love and hate, and it's using the language of electioneering.
Yeah, the election campaign.
Why did you do an election thing? Was it just here's a proactive idea, or was there an election going on?
Was it topical?
On? Yeah,
it was topical. There was an election going on. It was that was what inspired it. It was very good timing, in fact, but it wasn't obvious because we were working on a Marmite brief, but then we thought, hold on, there's a UK general election going on at the moment.
Right.
And it's Gordon Brown was the Labour leader. Yeah, I think. Yeah, and then David Cameron.
Okay.
Into power, yeah. So we just piggybacked on the election sort of fever and did our own election campaign. So we just spoofed all the mechanics of election campaigning, and we created the Love Party and the Hate Party. The Love Party was led by a leader called Faye Freely, and the Hate Party was led by Steve Heaving.
And I've got to say, Steve Heaving is one of the greatest. If your whole career had just been raced around creating that, I think that's pretty good. Steve Heaving.
And we did, Yeah, we used all the mechanics of election campaigns. So we did sort of party political broadcasts. We'd had a sort of
as TV spots.
There were cut downs for TV, but this was in the early days of Facebook and sort of YouTube, and we did a lot of online films, and then sort of leafleting and sort of like fly posters and sort of interviews with the leaders in Stylist magazine and stuff like that.
So we're looking at a post that says, it's beautifully put together. It's very, very kind of classic electioneering. Spread the love, Marmite pack, vote love party. And then, but there's a sort of rays of sunshine or something coming from behind it.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. I mean, was it just you two did it? Or did you work with a designer to put it all together, give it a look and feel? Because it's sort of, and then it goes sort of taped to lampposts. So slightly shit.
Placements wise, you see that, don't you? With the vote Liberal, Democrat, vote Conservative, vote. Yeah. People will just put them in their windows or in their front garden.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So did you sort of have obviously using the architecture of those campaigns? Was that your brief?
Yeah. And the thing was, it is in the real world something that people do care about. There are people that will vocally love Marmite, and there are people who vocally hate Marmite.
Are there Marmite influencers who just post about Marmite?
Probably, I haven't looked into it. There probably are.
There must be.
Yeah, but this was also the early days of Facebook, and there were Facebook pages. There was a Facebook page for Marmite lovers already. We created a Facebook page for Marmite haters.
And it
just blew up.
So for the love campaign, sorry, just because people can't see. So the slogan for the love party was spread the love.
Yeah.
And then the hate party was stop the spread. Is that right?
That's good.
And then I'm looking at a bit of copy. When elected, this is the hate party, we will begin our fight for a Marmite-free nation with the pledges on this removable card. And there's a picture of a Marmite jar upside down with skull and crossbones. Steve heaving. And then there's all sorts of ephemera around it. There's like flyers going through people's doors with rosettes. Does Marmite make your tongue hairy? What the fuck? What's that? Was that a joke? Obviously, but
yeah, I mean, there's some posters that come after it as well with some headlines.
Oh, this is a good one. Yeah, tell us this one.
So yeah, this was again. We had to try and push the B-Bitumen message in this campaign too. so we thought, okay, what other sort of slogans do political parties sort of push? One's sort of about the economy. So we had one for the Love Party which said "Making Britain Richer" with a pack of Marmite as the main visual, but then in small type in brackets it says underneath it "in B vitamins," so to convey that Marmite is rich in B vitamins.
It's absolutely brilliant. Why didn't this win awards? I haven't seen it. I fucking love this.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's
another. Shish, do you want to describe? Dan, do you want to describe this one?
I can't.
It just
here you go. It's
my favourite.
Yeah, this one here.
So we got the hate party, and we've got the headline is "Coincidence?"
Question mark.
And it says the Marmite sales are going up. Climate
change is going up.
Coincidence?
So there's two graphs basically with a red line that's sort of ascending on each, and one of them is the red line is Marmite sales, the other one the red line is climate change.
Very UKIP kind of vibes.
Yeah,
it's like blaming two different stats, blaming one.
Well, we did base the hate party on sort of extreme right wing.
Yeah,
it looks like quite mild now, doesn't it? 2023.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I was going to say, Brexit. I mean, it's probably even more relevant now considering how polarizing politics has become.
It's awful.
I mean, back then we based the hate party, and that video, the political broadcast, was a direct rip-off at the time. They don't exist anymore. But Nick Griffin and what was that?
English Defence League? No, National Party? Something like that.
Yeah, British National Party, yeah. And he did a political broadcast, and it was a spoof of that.
So when you did it...
They tried to sue Unilever for ripping off their video.
The other one that we've got from the hate party, which I love because it goes back to the B vitamins thing, is The headline being, if cowpats were rich in B vitamins, would you eat them?
The vitamins thing is coming through strong.
Very good.
I mean, it's such a brave campaign. It's no surprise. I mean, God, I don't know how many years on we are now, but it's his ace to see this. You know, I'd not really seen it before. You must have been, when you just touched upon it, you probably thought, because I bet you loads of people, not loads, but I bet people suddenly went, oh, election. Did you leg it down the corridor to, was it Jeremy Cragen or who was CD at the time?
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's really, really great. I love it.
Yeah, no, it's fun to work on. Yeah, there's directing duo called Joel and Jamie that did the film bit, and they were really great to work with.
So we've got one more bit of Marmite. Again, I hadn't seen this. I like this. This is a little partnership with British Airways.
Yeah.
Good news and an apology.
Never ran, sadly.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like it, right?
Yeah, this was...
What, did they not actually do the partnership, or did you still want to do ads?
They didn't do ads in the end. No. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. It was sort of early days when I was at ECD on British Airways at Ogilvy, and they were, it was their centenary then, right. And they had these sort of little Marmite jars on board their flights, and it was based on quite a good insight why they created. They're sort of 75ml jars of Marmite, because Brits go on holiday, you know, people take stuff they can't get abroad. And like tea is one.
Yeah.
Marmite's another one.
Wow.
Brits would take Marmite on holiday, but they get them confiscated because they're over the liquid allowance.
Oh, right.
I don't think it's liquid, so it's okay, but then they sort of get the Marmite confiscated. So British Airways made these small jars of Marmite that you could take with you.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, brilliant idea. So, yeah, again, just having had the experience at DDB on the brand.
Let me quickly read the copy. Good news. As part of our centenary celebrations, we're delighted to announce that Marmite is now served on board all our flights. Enjoy your journey. So, pretty straightforward. An apology. We regret to inform you that as part of our centenary celebrations, Marmite is now served on board our flights. Sorry for the distress this may cause. Great. Okay, moving on.
So that was when you were at Ogilvy?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, although we're still in the timeline.
Yeah, I'm just pointing out that.
Yeah, that was several years later. But, but we're going back.
Going back to those years at DDB.
Yeah.
It looks like you met some amazing people and worked on some amazing projects.
Yeah.
Good times at DDB back then?
Yeah, it really was a very memorable time. Because Sam and I started as a junior creative team there, and we just managed to do some work we're really proud of, and just managed to progress up to creative director level.
How long were you at DDB?
8 years.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's a good stint.
And worked on some great brands like Volkswagen and Marmite and Philips as well. They're doing some great work back then.
Yeah, we're looking at the VW night driving poster.
Yeah.
But we should, before we delve into it, just briefly talk about the night drive campaign, because it was really quite a seminal moment in car advertising, really. It was, I was doing a bit of research on it, saying that the brief, I think I might have read this on Sam's blog or someone else's, the brief was a car you'll love to drive.
Yeah.
No shit.
It was like, oh,
thanks for that.
Come on.
So how do you go from the most generic proposition, hey, you're going to love this, to, a fucking great, who was the voiceover?
Richard Burton.
Richard Burton. How do can you condense that into about 2 minutes? If you can.
Well, yeah, it was just like really deflating when you got that proposition. Do you know what I mean? It's like, come on, can we try a bit harder, please? But then we had to, okay, we're going to have to make something of this. And what can we do with this? And I mean, it boils down to, emotion, doesn't it? How do we make what we want to say emotional? What's the emotion we're tapping into that is relevant to what we need to say about this car or this brand?
Yeah.
That will resonate with people in the real world.
Yeah.
And it was just, I had to just think about it, talk about it, and it just came out to personal experience. And, we were thinking lots of things, but the thing that stuck with us was we were living in a city. Our whole experience of driving in a city is traffic. Like when you go trying to get somewhere, it's not fun. It's stressful. There's cars everywhere.
And when you get there, people say, "How long did it take you to get here? And what route did you take?"
Yeah. I mean, even now, it's even worse now. I live in East London and my parents live in Surrey, and it should take half an hour, distance-wise, but it takes 2 hours because you're just stopping and starting all the way, and traffic lights and roadworks. But anyway, it was like, okay, so driving is stressful, not much fun, but this is about car being a pleasure to drive. When is it a pleasure? Nighttime. At nighttime, the streets are quiet. There's calm, there's solitude. So we thought, what about driving at nighttime, making that a thing?
Great.
And and then it was like, how do you do that? And it was a long evolutionary process to get to that final film, because it began as a script, but that was the problem, because like when you construct a script that has a beginning, middle and an end, it can become contrived, and we just sort of kept stripping it back. But from the beginning, what happened was, we had this idea of not driving at nighttime, and then we thought of what do we set that to, and we had this thought of the Depeche Mode track, "Waiting for the Night to Fall,"
right?
Which lyrically was very appropriate,
right?
But then we thought, will that be a bit like a mood film?
Yeah.
And then like Sam was thinking back to his English literature days at university, and he was like thinking of poetry, and he was thinking of Robert Frost, and then he thought Dylan Thomas, and we sort of looked at the beginning of Under Milkwood by Dylan Thomas. Gee. And it just like felt really appropriate, about everyone being asleep, and the butcher, the baker, it's like everything is quiet and silent. And so then we made a mood film with sort of clips of nighttime driving set to that Depeche Mode track, the instrumental version of it.
Right.
And we put the Richard Burton recording of Under Milkwood, because he'd done it on BBC Radio and also as a film, set it to Depeche Mode. And it was like, whoa, that sounds amazing.
Bingo.
This electronic sort of track, and there's that voice, like from the 60s, and like set to just driving at nighttime. It's like, bloody hell, that was a mood film. And it's like, whoa, we were showing this mood film around. Like,
stick that on the air. Yeah.
And then we got Noah Morrow, the director, involved. And he just took it to the next level. Collateral had come out quite recently, the Michael Mann film, and cameras that could film at nighttime were quite new. And Noah Morrow, being an LA director, a new Paul Cameron, who was a DOP on Collateral with Michael Mann, and he was like sort of used to these cameras that could film at nighttime. And so we shot the ad with him, and it was basically really freestyle. We just took a camera out to LA at 3 a.m. and just drove around.
Oh my God, you went to LA as well?
Pointing it out.
Every part of this, I'm thinking, should we just do a podcast about this? Fuck the billboards.
But back to the billboard.
No, but
which I was, very proud of as well.
Yeah. No, but just go back to the film for a minute, because fucking hell, that's amazing. Kudos to you and Sam, not just for getting beyond a very, very generic proposition.
Yeah.
and then because for me, there was so many interesting things about what you just said, but the nighttime you might have stopped there and gone, it's all right, and we shoot it, nice track. And I think what you've done is you've gone further, you and Sam and, your creative director and client, and you've gone, no, it needs to be more, which is good.
Yeah.
Really good. But then you've gone and got Noah Murrow, who's mega. I wish I'd worked with him. Yeah. But then the thing, because I always thought, what is the thing about it? Because it looks just a little bit better than everything else. Yeah. And I remember Collateral as being one of my favourites.
Yeah, I love
especially
that.
Tom Cruise's hair for some reason.
Yeah,
I really liked it. And all of the elements obviously have come together. It's pretty good. I mean, and because it didn't really, your idea is drive at night. It's what George Michael used to do. He said he couldn't stand driving in a day because people would see him.
Yeah.
At night time, he's anonymous. Yeah. And it was his best time because he would just drive around. And, there's a real truth in it, but there's also, it's just kind of poetic.
Yeah.
Was there always a poster at the end of this for you when you were working on the film thinking, how are we going to take this to the poster?
Yeah. Good question.
Yeah, and it was tricky. It was tricky because it was, a very evocative thing that we could see how it would work in moving image, but then to do it in posters was quite difficult. But one thing that did inspire us was a photographer that is from America as well. He didn't shoot these, but his name's Todd Hido, and he did this series of images that were sort of long exposure shots at nighttime, and they were just sort of shots from the street of houses at nighttime, and they were shot all around different sort of places, suburban streets, rural, urban. But they were just sort of like buildings with some lights on, shot from the street.
Right.
And you couldn't see any detail. They were long exposure. So they were kind of like really soft, and the colours of the nighttime are coming through. And they were just really evocative images. And we really liked that look. So we took that into these posters. But yeah, they were just sort of like sodium lighting and taking sort of the colour that is inherent in sort of street lighting at night and bringing that through in the photography.
You've certainly got the feel. I mean, I'll just read it. No school run, no commuter on the hands-free, no bus broken down, no taxi doing U-turn, no bike in your blind spot, no man selling roses, no sun in your eyes, no sweat on your back, no time to read this poster. So you could have stopped at that. Again, you could have just done at the end and gone, yeah, night driving, that's cool. No time to read this poster, which is ironic because I've now read it. Yeah. But, it's fucking great. Because you could have gone, we've done the TV, just sack off the poster, nice shot of the car, night driving by golf, pretty good. But you've pushed this as well. So it's become a really lovely thing.
And what was on the URL on nightdriving.com?
Yeah, I was going to ask that.
It was a 360.
Hey, really? Come on. 360.
No way.
So on the website, this was quite a new thing as well. We had Tribal DDB, that was the sort of digital agency that was in the same building, and we worked with a creative team that were overseeing the website elements. Steve Webley was one of the creatives on it, who's at the gate now. And they did product demo footage of the car that was shot when we were shooting our TV ad, that was interactive. So it was all shots of a Golf driving at nighttime, but the camera could sort of move around different parts of the car, and it would talk about the sort of lights or the braking system or the dashboard.
Oh, that's cool.
And it also had somewhere you could upload your own night drives as well, and which people actually used as well. I mean, it did actually resonate with people in the real world, and there were people that shared their sort of places they like to drive at night time. There are probably some dogging ones in there as well. But
it's quite nice though. When you have to drive late at night, when you've been working late on a project, you end up driving somewhere when all the lights are green, or especially down that Euston Road, you're going east to west, or west to east. You hit all the green lights, like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
You know, there's that. And I think there's also people who like to watch that, so they would share it, right?
Yeah.
Is it Francis Ford Coppola made the film of driving from the Sacré-Cœur to the Arc de Triomphe?
Okay, what's that?
In a Ferrari. I'm sure.
Oh, right, yeah. Go on.
And it was like at 3 a.m. or something. You know, it was just as the sun was rising. Empty streets, and they did it at race speed.
Oh, that sounds
nuts.
Wow.
Yes, you'll find it online. It's a very, very good film. But those empty streets, especially when it's the streets that you know so well, it's...
There's just very quickly, because I think I sound... These press ads we're looking at.
These ones are press. But the one you read out was a poster, obviously.
Yes.
But the next one's a press. But just one thing I want to say about that poster as well. We were talking about context.
Yeah.
And, you know, being aware of, you know, the spaces your ads are running in. But that poster, you know, counterintuitive, long copy on a poster.
Yeah.
Not something, you know, you're told to do, you know, 8 words maximum.
Yeah.
Breaks the rules.
But yeah, we were sort of thinking this is about traffic in the daytime.
Yeah.
Where you would read that poster because you're going to be stuck on a busy road.
Yeah. No, it totally makes sense. You know. I just wanted to ask about these two because I saw these. I thought these are really nice. There's a shot of a bed that someone's obviously left the bed in the night, and then there's just a point of view shot of a night street. These would be on the website or print ads as well?
They were press ads, yeah. So they ran in press when magazine ads, people bought magazines. But they're all shot by a photographer called Ernst Fischer.
Okay, they're just very. I love them. They're very real. They're sort of aspirational without being advertising aspirational. Just you know what I mean. You think, oh yeah, that I love the tone. Right, we're going to move on. We're going to go to something completely different. The FT or Financial Times.
Still at DDB here, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Financial advertising. I have to confess, I've done a lot of this. Sometimes just to earn the money, and sometimes, you know, trying to do a good job. It's fucking hard, and it's not like they're going, oh, you've got me a financial advertising brief. You know, I mean, I suppose it's not just financial. It's, you know, it's a media, but it's still. So I think even more kudos to this work that is so good because it's. I imagine at the time you said to Dan earlier about the clients you had, or Dan was mentioning it. It's a pretty good list, but you probably wouldn't have put the FT at the top of that, would you? You go,
no,
VW, Marmite, blah, blah. And then, so tell us about how you got onto FT and how you kind of made it good in a way.
Well, we had good predecessors.
Right. Who was that?
Matt and Pete.
Mention today.
They came up with the line, "We live in Financial Times."
Great. That's a great line, isn't it?
And I think, that was what DDB won the pitch on for the FT. And they were CDs on it for a while.
Right.
I don't know how long. But then we were put onto it, me and Sam, and it was our first CD roll.
Right.
So we had to not fuck it up, but B, also we had a good client and good work to piggyback on. So it was, when was it? 2009, 2010? You know, it was at the time when there was a global economic crisis. You know, the world was in recession. The line is obviously, you know, was very relevant to that time. And a lot of the work that we did was based upon, you know, things that people really sort of cared about at the time. You know, the economy, the annual budget. The first one was St. Bernard. Right, a poster of a St. Bernard in the snow in an alpine sort of landscape, standing on top of a snowy summit with a rolled up Financial Times newspaper around its collar, like those sort of barrels
where the
of
barrel of brandy
would be when they're sort of rescuing mountaineers in distress. So basically a metaphor for the FT being able to help you or save you in rough financial times.
And is this the poster as it ran?
That's how it ran, which was absolutely a joy.
Unheard of for times, isn't it? You normally get your pink banner somewhere.
There was no copy. It was just a giant image of a St. Bernard in snowy weather with the Financial Times around its neck.
It's funny because prior to that, as you were describing it, and you're an ad guy like us, so you're not one to waffle on too much, but you said quite a lot of words there. Yeah. And then you get to that and you're going, fucking hell, it's amazing, isn't it? How you can, of simplicity and, a graphic solution. And, I remember seeing it going, God, so good. Because it's just pushed everything else out of the way and going, we're here to help you,
Yeah.
And it's so, it's such a magnificent image, isn't it? I mean, I like saying, Dan, where's all the other stuff?
Yeah. Did you have to fight to keep the pink banner off it that's on some of the other stuff?
Yes. Yeah. It was something that they wanted.
And fair play, because I think it's all the better for it. That's as a piece of artwork out on the streets.
Yeah,
infinitely better than seeing.
To the client's credit as well, they understood that. Didn't need good. It. The pink of the paper is there and sort of prominent.
It would have detracted actually from the idea. I bet. Yeah, you would have done all that.
Yeah. Creative team were Rob Messiter and Mike Crow, who are now at Apple.
Yes.
In the States.
I think we've briefly spoken to them on LinkedIn about various campaigns they've done as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're good lads.
And again, taking art as inspiration, because that was based on the Monarch of the Glen.
Yeah.
By Landseer.
Really?
Famous painting of the stag.
We've got a real artist today, haven't we? I wouldn't know that. I'm just a little copywriter.
It's the degree. It's the stuff before advertising that's coming through. Poetry and real art.
Yeah. My degree was in, I can't even bear to say it, construction management.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that's helped me a lot in my life. Can't even put a fucking shed up.
Building cakes.
Dan went
building brands,
but Dan
don't pick on me.
No, he was Central St. Martin. He was Central St. Martin.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So
what did you do there? Was it
graphic design?
Graphic design. Yeah. It's a solid school.
Good.
Right, we're going to do a bit more FT.
So it's like an age ago. Well, it was an age ago now.
Yeah.
What should we go to next, Sam? Which one, Sam? Fucking hell. Let's cut that.
Obama. Let's go to the Obama one. I love that Obama image.
Yeah. I mean, that was an actual photograph.
Yeah. Is that his inauguration speech?
I can't remember.
This was one in Chicago, was it?
Inauguration or... it might have been the inauguration, or it might have been one of his campaign rallies.
Yeah, one of the rallies, maybe.
I mean, we retouched a bit of the sort of the top section just to fit in a 48 sheet, but it's actually a wider image than that, so there were more people left and right. So it's pretty faithful to the kind of numbers of people he commanded the attention of because he wasn't
such an incredible time for American politics. Wasn't it? When you think about what came after, you just think,
the Marmite Party.
But exactly. I don't know if
Steve Heaving followed him.
Yeah, Steve Heaving.
If we had a Trump poster, like with the same, I don't know if you get the same numbers there, but you'd probably
look very different.
Photoshop to make it work.
The line is
very different. Big foam hands everywhere and all sorts of shit on that one.
People with hats with fur and antlers sticking out. Who does the man everyone listens to listen to? Great line. Yeah. And just
David Mackesy and Jonathan John did this one.
Kudos to you boys. It's brilliant because you get that image as a team and you're gonna go, fuck, what are we gonna do here?
Yeah,
because it is. You could sort of again be lazy and just stick it up there and I don't know, you could just do a fob off, but they've done well there.
Yeah.
You've done well. It's a lovely. It's a great.
I think that line was a homage to a early VW line,
really,
from DDB in the States, who the snowplow one.
Right. How does the
man who drives a snowplow drive the snowplow? Yeah.
Should we keep going? Because I think we need to rattle on. We're going to move to Fallon, where you went.
Yes.
Quick question: was it Rich and Andy then, or just Rich? Or
no, it was after then.
Okay.
So an interesting and
you got
challenging time at Fallon. Well, sadly not. No, it's still like
worse. Oh my God.
Yeah. But no, it's after that. So
and you because I did a bit of calculating. You weren't there that long.
It's like a couple of years.
But you did a very big cam for Cadbury's. Campaign, outdoor campaign, which we're looking at now for the Olympics. It looks like a lot of fun.
Yes.
And was it part of the Joyville campaign?
Yeah.
Was it after that had sort of kicked in?
Yeah. Not long after. Yeah, but the same year, just a few months later.
So lots of purple and lots of joy.
Yeah.
You kind of all the work is based around little facts about actual Olympians, and then you've sort of used, like on the first one, it says a shot put weighs 148 Cadbury dairy milks. So it's just sort of really slightly kitsch.
Yeah,
photography must have been quite a lot of fun doing these, right?
It was, yeah, really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was.
How did you shoot? Was it all studio?
They were all shot in a studio. Yeah, a big sort of warehouse that was quite sort of white and grey painted.
There's a lot of chalky, I imagine.
So I think the setting was meant to feel like a sort of a lab or a testing room for these stats.
Right.
The photographers were the Wade brothers, and the creative team, who have gone on to great success, were Becca Pottinger and Sam McCluskey. Becca Pottinger,
okay,
was a CD now, was at Droga 5 with Sam, and now she's at Wieden Kennedy.
Right.
Sam is still in the States. I think he might still be at Droga 5, I don't know. But they were ex-Watford team. We got them in as a placement when we were at Fallon. And
well, I hope you were nice to them, because, you could have been nice on the way out, because... That's what I'm finding. I'm meeting all sorts of people, and I just go, "Oh God!" My first thing I would say was I rude to you? I apologise, and then you're kind of all right,
Just apologise straight away,
no
really matter
sorry.
what. Yeah.
And then say,
I was probably a bit of a dick back then.
Yeah, but it was more Adam than me, wasn't it? But that's a sort of life lesson, I think, But these are great. I mean, they're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's funny because, when you look at Cadbury and you go, they are actually doing some good work now. They've had some funny periods, Cadbury.
Yeah.
Gorilla, and you've had this stuff, great.
Yeah.
Then I don't know what happened for a bit.
Yeah.
But then they're at VCP now, glass half full. Very nice. Some of the work they're doing there.
But those, the kind of early 2010s through 2015, that was all Fallon time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Brilliant stuff.
Yeah,
the Spots v Stripes campaign. Do you remember that?
That was happening because this is all around the Olympic sponsorship. But I mean, there's two things. Like this campaign. First of all, when we got this brief, they were into Spots v Stripes before we started at Fallon, but it was like chocolate. A sporting event. Why?
Yeah.
I mean, why are they sponsoring the Olympics? Obviously, everybody wants to be in the
fizzy
Olympics.
Drinks and any snacks based thing around sports.
Yeah.
It's just like
it's just like counterintuitive. So we just want to do something that was fun and it didn't take itself too seriously. And we just tapped into the fact that people who are into sports love stats.
Yeah,
and we just wanted to
stats.
Take the piss out of stats a bit and spoof it and be a bit absurd with it. And that made for some fun.
Yeah, very Cadbury as well, isn't it?
But also the other thing was, this is the time, the Joyville campaign, which, we're very proud to have worked on.
Yes.
John Allison and Chris Boville were also at Fallon at the time. Obviously, they'd been there way before us, but they were the sort of creative team behind this idea. And we had to follow up what was probably one of the most famous in recent times of Cadbury, which was the Glass and a Half Full Productions and the Drumming Gorilla. So it was like the client wanted a new campaign that could follow that could sort of be a bit broader in what you could advertise with it, different chocolate brands, etc. And came up with Joyville, which went on to be a global campaign for several years.
Yeah, there was
quite a different
I think
voice as well.
Did you send? There was some great imagery of the balloons behind. Was that Joyville? Sort of card pulling loads of purple balloons. Oh, where have I seen this? Sorry, it's quite late last night.
Yeah, I think that might have been
but a global thing, and then there was a house painted purple. There was all these sort of outdoory cool shit going around.
Right.
The world.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. We don't have to do comfort. We've done that. So we're going to go to have a beer now. Sol. I was really confused when I saw this.
A bit early for that, isn't it? Yeah, it's still before 12.
Pubs are open
soon. John and Bertie aren't here yet. It was a campaign for Sol. I didn't really understand initially because I couldn't see the beer, but then doing a bit more research, found out it was to celebrate these sort of maverick local heroes. Is that right?
Yeah.
And as part of their what's the word? Espiritu libre.
Yes.
Did I say it?
It's Spirits of Freedom.
Yeah. So this was at BBH, right?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
So quite interesting.
Yeah.
Murals, right?
Yeah.
So we'd done a mural special the other week. So
with Lee Bofkin.
Yeah. So these could have. So you actually
Hugh's become obsessed with murals now. By the way, If you stand still long enough, you're going to get painted. He's looking at options to paint. I reckon he's painted the side of his house already.
I was hoping to get mural grey on at some point. They're great. So how did you find these people? This chap's quite interesting. You can.
Yeah, he is an amazing person.
You can have the car, the house, the holidays, or something that really makes you happy.
Yeah, so I've forgotten his name, but he's based up in Manchester, and he was in IT, a software engineer or something. Quite a high-powered job, but he loved and always did love music and
Jim Fleeting
guitars. Jim Fleeting, there you go. And he quit his career in IT to make guitars. And
that's cool.
He makes the most amazing, really unique looking guitars, electric guitars, bass guitars, made out of wood.
Cool.
And carved out of wood. And he did have some very famous people playing his guitars, like Nile Rodgers has one of his
fucking hell.
bass guitars.
And so the idea behind the entire campaign is real people, real heroes, and heroing them some way and
and it taps back to the brand. Sol is a Mexican beer, and it was born from the Mexican Revolution of Independence.
Right.
So its whole sort of Espiritu Libre thing was about celebrating independent spirits. So we sort of brought that into the modern world of today and sort of celebrated people
everyday heroes
ditching the 9 to 5 to go out and do their own thing.
Yeah, because
we found these people all around the country. Yeah,
because you made they made films of them as well.
Yeah, made documentary films, and these sort of murals were at the heart of those films.
That's cool.
But yeah, we wanted to do something that was mural street art based because we were thinking about, again, an art reference here. Diego Rivera, Mexican muralist, and like the large scale works he did in Mexico. And we thought we'd take the idea of that, the visual language of Mexican murals, and do something that's hero.
There was loads of political influence in that as well, wasn't there? In all Mexican murals, especially around Mexican independence, there was loads of.
Celebrated sort of. It was very socialist. And sort of
I'm just
celebrated
pop out
sort of
while you
working
guys
people.
talk about art.
How we get deep.
But so we wanted to, do ads on walls. But the one thing I wanted to talk about, and be good to get your thoughts on it. Street art, ads as street art. I think it's great because it harks back to the olden times when brands painted on walls there, and sort of did ads on walls. But I see a lot of ads painted on walls that are just like ad layouts on walls, and it'd be great to see more that are contextual, know the design for the space, and sort of like make the most of it.
I think they've become popular, right? So I think brands are seeing them. Like some of the additions that we've seen in that space, kind of UV paint and the carbon-eating paint that we did for VW years ago. Like some of that stuff where you're kind of layering on some of the concepts with. There's projections onto them, and there's some incredible stuff happening in the space. But I think brands and marketing departments are seeing this mural revolution and going, we need a mural. Yeah. And they just go, well, here's our 6-sheet layout. Go and put that on. Where you have others. Oatly is a great example where they take the idea of a mural and turn it on its head.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame because in a way. It's becoming like all the other media going, I'll just stick it over there. But thinking about where there is.
But photorealism on murals is becoming more popular. Yeah. And actually the technique for it is incredible. And for me, the craft of the artist doing it is equally as impressive as the final product. Because and as part of, I think there's a content story now about the mural creation. Yeah. And I think most brands were looking at it as like, this is not just an ad, this is the creation of the ad, and I'll use that as a socializable piece of content for our channels. And if that is photorealism, with people on, or if it's just a beautiful product shot made out of paint, and spray paint, then it works for me as a piece of content.
I mean, from the article I wrote for Shots magazine, still available online, doubling up from our podcast. Speaking to Lee, he said, the craft in fashion, like the Valentino image, the realism thing. That's where the real sort of joy is, and that's what people used to do. People are just kind of walking into the space and going, "Oh, give us one of those, Gov." But even if it's just a shitty logo, or not shitty, it's just a logo. Yeah. So this was quite funny. He and someone else I spoke to said, and Dan, you might know this or not, but it said there are facts or data that says if you do a mural, people look at it longer, right? And I said, "Oh, how'd you know?" And he said, "Oh, I couldn't tell you that, of course." And I go, "Was it hidden camera?" Blah blah blah. He said, "No," but he said, joking aside, he said, "I can't tell you because." That's part of what our world is and how they might sell it.
Eye tracking.
Yeah.
But you kind of go... It's sample sets from... Sorry to ruin the magic.
Dan's getting technical.
Well, they pay a sample set of people to walk.
Are we allowed to let these secrets out?
Yeah. It's how outdoors measured. It's part of the effectiveness of selling the media for the people who sell it.
Yes, go on.
And they have eye tracking on glasses, and the people wear it, and they say when you walk from point A to point B, and they look at how long they look at posters. And some of that research is impacting for things like creative testing tools, where people, trying to test their creative through a portal or through some sort of online testing tool. They use eye tracking for that, so they can see how long people look at it, what they read, in what order, and how long the dwell time is in certain locations. So, it's every single piece of outdoor media is been through some sort of eye tracking solution to quantify how people look and consume the media at each location. It starts at the very beginning. So media owners themselves, when they decide whether they're going to speak to the landlord about that wall for a potential poster or a billboard, they use sample sets of people to decide if people would look at it.
And that's how they've sort of found out this that there's longer dwell time on murals. Or
I don't know about you two, but
wall-based stuff.
Wherever I go when I'm walking about, if there's something being painted on a wall, it's invariably a bit cooler, or could have the potential to be cooler because of where it is and what it's doing. So I'll always be up for just giving it a little bit more time than a bought and paid for poster that has all the tropes.
I think it's the same.
Hashtag, yada, yada,
it's the same. You can say the same for special build posters as well, where you've got a 2D or a 3D element that breaches the frame. Those command a bit, because it breaks the viewers.
Unexpected, right? It's that novelty factor that
exactly.
It's not where you'd expect.
So that's not what I'm used to seeing right there, and something's broken out. So I look longer and maybe and accept it a bit longer. I think as I try and understand the story. You can tell a bit more of the story because you've earned their attention. So then you have to pay them back with something.
Yeah, and also like you kind of respect a brand a bit who's gone trying a bit harder. Yeah, not just whack it up everywhere. Like, I mean, sorry to wang on about Sky again, but it's like I see their work. I only see it everywhere because I'm part of this world that you sit in. But
you're not going to get a job at Sky.
No, I wrote them. They wrote back, so I'm fine for now. But they, nor is Vicky Ross. I think she was the one telling me a bit more about it. But it was just like they buy so much media, and then they just stick up. There's one actually just has an emoji on it with a smiley face going something like "There you go" or "Happy Summer." I'm going, my daughter's friend's sister's cat's rabbit would probably do that. Let's just put up a smiling face. I mean, and you're like one of the sexiest. Their brand is fucking
one of the biggest spenders in out of home.
How does that work? Sorry, I'm not going to go
in the top five. In the top five in the UK spenders for out of home media,
and that work does not reflect that brand. Anyway, let's talk about one more big brand before we go. Tesco.
Yes.
So this was a campaign you did at
Wieden and
Kennedy, and personally, because I've worked on big supermarkets, it's fucking hard to do great work because they go, oh, here's the food, guys. Yeah. Anyway, just put the food in it. So it's always like you're dealing with that thing. It's like that Paul Arden thing. Put the thing you got to do, put it right in the middle and then work around it. And I think what this does brilliantly, it was just brilliant. It's lovely writing. It's colourful. It's got shitloads of food in. Do you want to talk to us a bit about that?
Sure.
That's how you came. I mean, it is a bit arty, isn't it? In a sort of graphic designy, but it's simple. It's so simple as well, isn't it?
So this was after Fallon. We freelanced at Wieden Kennedy.
Right.
We were there for like 6 months, and it was a massive baptism of fire.
Really?
It was, I think probably the most I've learned about advertising.
Agency cultural shift, or
and like obviously, but working with Tony Davidson there and Kim Papworth, their amazing design department as well, and just the way they approach creativity. I learned quite a lot there. Yeah, probably first time was at Watford College, and then the next time was like just sort of broke you out of your sort of conventional accepted thinking and thinking in new ways about ideas. And it was a great learning process. But really pleased with this campaign. It was Tesco's biggest brief they'd given the agency since they won the pitch, I think the year before. Got this campaign out of it. It was to change people's perception of like the food that Tesco sells, and because it was perceived to be a very sort of cheap pilot hire set at cheap kind of supermarket, and they wanted to show that the food they sell there is actually some good quality stuff, and they care about it as well. They're not just a cheap supermarket. So it's all about sort of passion for food, love of food, and tapping into people's love of food. And we did that. Again, it's about emotion, isn't it? Like sort of bringing out that feeling of how food makes people feel into the campaign. And I guess it wasn't really an idea, this campaign. That's one thing I learned at Wieden's, that you can the idea can be an energy or a feeling. And this is about just the feeling of love and passion. And it's about celebrating moments and occasions where food, makes people feel something. And the posters did that with words. There's been a few long copy posters in this, hasn't there?
I
so
like
these were also copy based, but it was copy as design. Do you know what I mean? It was like you didn't need to read everything, but it evoked a feeling of picnics or barbecues or dinner parties, blah blah blah.
The thing is, with something as impactful as that, is you're right. You don't have to read every word, and you're likely going to see it around the city multiple times. Even if you read just one piece, like every slice stands out because I love pizza. But each time you see it, you'll see something else, and I think that's as important with posters. You don't have to read everything. You know what you can see the logo, you can see the.
I'm pleased you said that, because I remember seeing these thinking, I love them just because what you said. I love the energy. I thought, shitloads of food. Yeah, actually, nicely done. I never read them all. So I've just read this one, and I've got a little joke here. So it goes, every chomp, drumstick, every sizzle, sausage, every stain, mustard, that's funny, every green bit, a bit of lettuce, every oops, and there's a burnt burger, every woohoo, a properly cooked burger, love every mouthful. So there is a story there, and a truth and an honesty.
Yeah.
Because a bad client would have gone, no, we're not going to show you burnt food, are we? And I love it for that. And thank you, Dan, for pointing that out. Like you say, great stuff coming back to it is still worth it, rather than, like 1.5 seconds, that's all you're going to get off of me. And I think it did it in buckets. And I think, like I said, having worked on this sort of stuff a lot, I've spotted this, I think it was on Sam's website. So it's an aisle in a shop, and it's got a massive strawberry, behind it a massive peach, and then something else. It goes, love every mouthful, every sweet and juicy. Yeah. And they're probably there going, fucking love these guys. Yeah. You've got an idea.
Yeah.
And they've got their food. Yeah. And it just went on and on, because there was also the bags. So I like these. I found these. I think these are on your website. Every spicy, every sour, every nutty, every sweet, every sharp, every fruity, every tangy, every tart, every bitter, every mild, every hot. Love every mouthful. That's on the side of a bag. Yeah. In Tesco's, and there's a few of those. They're great. And then even on the side of a truck, which I always like when brands do the truck. You've bothered there. Yeah. Good on you. Like Virgin are pretty good at that, aren't they?
They had those trucks. They actually were on trucks as well, not just comped for to expand the campaign. And then obviously sometimes they take a long time to replace.
Yeah. You see them for years and years.
So that was there up until a few years ago.
It's great.
But this campaign was a nightmare to write. It was fun because obviously the storytelling, that relates to different food and stuff. And this is where, Tony Davidson's oversight and the design department widens. You had to write these so that the words fit across the whole layout. You had to work to the 48 sheet spec and DPS and blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
And getting, and there's so many elements to get right. You had to fill the layout. You couldn't have a gap. You couldn't have a word that was too short or a word that was too long, because there'd be a gap that would look odd. But then you also want to have the right range of foods in there and the right story to tell. And we had to write hundreds and hundreds of these. And they, until you got to the right ones. And you can see this a little reveal here, but some of them we've added letters to a word to make it longer. Repeated a word more than once just to fit it in.
Well, look, the one we're looking at, every crack an egg, every crush garlic, every squeeze lemon. That gets you to...
But relevant.
Yeah, squeeze. To the 96 sheet layout. Every wallop a chili, every rip a baguette, every whack, every whack, every whack. Because Sam and she should run out of stuff. But it's the ketchup bowl.
It's a ketchup bowl.
And it needs 3 hits,
You can get away with it.
No, but, that's... I know you're doing it as a sort of a practical thing, but you've done a brilliant thing there. You just made it just a better story, isn't it?
We're coming to the end of.
Yeah, we better get off.
Yeah, Adrian's going to come in and kick us out in a minute. Mark Commode's going to come in and kick us out. Before we do move on, though, a favourite billboard of all time.
He's cheated. He's put 2, and we're never going to have time to do them all.
There's the Tate. We were talking about the Tate.
Yeah.
The Tate, and the thing about not showing the pictures.
Yep.
On the ads. evoking or, enticing into the gallery. But I loved Fallon did it. Juan Cabral was the creative on it. The Tate collections campaign, and they were long copy posters, posters. And they broke up Tate's permanent collection into a series of collections that were very sort of relatable to everyday people, like the I'm Hungover collection, or the I've Just Split Up collection, or the I Have a Big Meeting collection. And each of those, and there's long copy, sort of almost like a guided tour. Go into Tate, go into room 1, you'll see this picture, then this picture. This is about this is about that. You could probably read on the screen, but, relevant to, if you're hungover, just pop in. It's free to come in. This will make you feel better.
Yeah, it's nice.
Absolutely.
Or if you've just split up, this will reassure you, or give you.
What about if you're hungover, you've split up, and you've got a big meeting?
Do all 3.
Yeah, got a long day.
Yeah, you might be late for your meeting, but...
and then you've got an iPhone thing and a Dulux thing as well.
Okay, so shot on iPhone doesn't need much explanation, but
shot on iPhone's brilliant.
It's sort of real, and it's sort of images on big billboards. Beautiful.
Yeah.
The other one, which kind of relates, but I don't know if you remember it, it was a Dulux campaign. It was at the time when AMV did a campaign called You Find the Colour, We'll Match It.
Oh, I remember the campaign. Sorry.
And I remember this when I was a student, it was before I went into advertising. They just did a series of billboards. They sort of almost flooded the country with billboards. They just had a colour on it. And they just were colours with a little bit of copy at the bottom that said... the name of the colour, and then just one of the X million colours available with our Dulux colour mixer. So it's just like colours on 48 sheets. And you can imagine in a drab suburban town on a grey day, just a series of billboards just with different colours on them, and how it just looks so uplifting.
Kind of like murals, isn't it? Like lifting the environment.
Yeah, it's just so simple.
Mate. Thank you. Sorry, we've rushed there a little bit.
Yeah, great body of work. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much. Honestly, some of those stories are really fucking really ace. Thank you.
Good to chat. Yeah, good to see you guys.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Cheers.
And if anyone needs a freelance creative director or senior creative, my email address is shishirpatel@gmail.com.
That's the first time we've had that.
And he's very, very good.
Advertising on an advertising podcast. There you go.
And also he's got a very nice stripy top on. Wow, that was amazing.
You always say that.
Yeah, no, but
that actually was amazing.
That was amazing, wasn't it? The stories.
It was good.
I mean, literally behind the billboards.
Like, we're literally behind the billboards.
Well, what we're doing as a job, it's quite
appropriate for maybe like he's listened to our podcast.
Yeah, maybe he knows what you want. Pete Hayes' son's picture for the Marmite thing. It's outstanding.
I got a similar story to that when we were looking at these billboards in China for something for Disney. We were out there for a week looking at all these different locations. One of them was government operated, this massive billboard in a kind of people's, I think it's called the People's Square or something in Shanghai. Right. We, through an interpreter, we were kind of talking to them about, can we plug into this screen? Can we do this? Because we're doing something quite technical. And it was kind of no. And then we finally got permission to take their player out and plug in my laptop.
Yeah.
To try and see if we could do what we needed to do on screen. Anyway, on my desktop, Ruby had just been born. There's a picture of Ruby on my desktop, and she was beamed out into People's Square. And we, because we had to go and check it.
Did you get to take a photo of it?
Yeah. So I took a picture of. I've got it somewhere. There's this picture of Ruby, and this busy area of Shanghai just up on the screen. It's just like people must have been walking past that what's normally an advertising screen going, why is there a picture of a Western Navy up there? Yeah.
Some subversive campaign for some film. Great. Well, there was so much detail, and she's such a lovely gentlemanly sort of guy, isn't he? Just takes the time to credit people and talk you through what it went on. It's a real pleasure having him on.
And a great advert there at the end for his wares. So if people out there needing someone as experienced and amazing as him, you should definitely drop him an email.
We should also thank Soho Radio this morning. Adrian's
here, yeah.
Good man. Moving house. Good luck with the rest of that. And his back's a bit sore, so that's okay.
And obviously, big thanks to our sponsors at Talon, big supporters of ours, and lots of interesting stuff happening at Talon at the moment as well.
As always. And thank you, Dan, for being so lovely.
Thank you for the cake.
See you next time.
It was amazing.
Bye.
Bye.